The Dynasty Podcast is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. You were warned. The Dynasty Podcast is brought to you by Jumbo Donuts. Get a delicious blueberry muffin, bacon and cheese sandwich, or the Jumbo Donuts world-famous chocolate-covered donut. Don't be a fool. Start the day off right at your local Jumbo Donuts.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight. That's right. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast.
And now, coming to you live from Riverdale Studios, your host, the one, the only, Eric Costanza!
Do not attempt to adjust your computer settings. This week's Dynasty Podcast is going to be hosted by Coach Johnny C.
That's right, fuckers. I'm hosting this motherfucker tonight. Fuck Scooper. He's done. He's dead. He's not dead, but, you know, I'm going to host it. Special guest host, Johnny C, for the first time. There's been 12 Dynasty podcasts, but technically this is the first time in Dynasty history. So, I say let's get this motherfucker on the road. The only order of business here before we get into the usual podcast, soon the commission will be emailing everyone the annual mandatory end of the regular season email to vote on draft pick of the year, Rob Gronkowski, league fund ranking, commish ranking, and the Dynasty 8 MVP. So let's make this maybe the first league email that Eric actually sends out where he doesn't have to, let's say, track one of you fucking lazy assholes down, or maybe you got one of you fucking ass jerks don't get a warning for not responding to an easy fucking email. Take the 2 seconds, use your index finger, use the mouse, click, type, send. Fuck!
Now let's take a look into last week's results. Who kicked some ass? Who sucked?
Oh God, oh my God.
Before I get into last week's game scoring results, I just want to make sure that there's no confusion out there in Dynasty Kingdom. The sounds you just heard in that wonderful jingle that myself, the guard dog, and Commish Scooper created, at the very end there you hear some quite disgusting sounds. I want to make sure that everyone knows that those are very real. The belch is all me. That's all me. And then you hear a bit of a wet diarrhea sound. You guys probably don't want to believe this, but that is very real. I witnessed it. Coach Jeff Gard took his computer into the bathroom, dropped trowel, and squeezed out some disgusting sounding mess. So some of you I know are in denial. You don't want to believe that that's real. You're actually hearing Jeff Guard shit into a toilet. But let's move on. The first game to talk about here is the Jumbo Donuts game of the week, and that was Bubba Gump Shrimp versus the Heritage Park Hunters. That was a big game for both teams. A single loss for Bubba possibly could have gotten him out of the race. Hunters is still in it, but basically Bubba Gump Shrimp put just absolutely insane numbers up on the board. The final score was 152 to 101. Absolutely amazing. Bubba had 7 of his starting roster put up double-digit numbers. It makes my boner wet. Kudos to Hunters putting up triple-digit final score, but hey, that's fantasy for you. Next game was the Riverdale Scoopers versus the Hong Kong Cavaliers. The Cavs actually pulled it out, 100 to 79. I remember telling Coach Matt Whiffen that I had a good feeling about his team this week. I don't know why. I didn't pick him in the pick'em standings, but I still had a good feeling about him. The next game is the Handy Quacks versus Soul Glow. Final score 93 to 56. That makes that the 56 is the lowest points scored this year. So by Soul Glow. So sorry, Soul Glow, but that's very pathetic. Next game, Yellow Peril versus the Rockdalian Senators. Final score was 129 to 79. My Asian sensation, Jae Young Kim, still putting up great numbers. I'm a closet Yellow Peril fan. I'm secretly rooting for you, obviously, besides my own team, the Amber Alerts. Yellow Peril, Jae Young, his star quarterback, Cam Newton, with 39 points. That's tied for most points of all players. So very impressive there. Great job. Next game, Brutal Deluxe versus the Iron Dogs. Now, we all know who was going to win. No one's surprised at the final outcome of the game. But my fucking God, 156 points. I mean, you thought Bubblegum Shrimp's numbers were ridiculous with 152, but that extra 4 is just ridiculous. Brandon, Brutal Deluxe, he scored the most amount of points for the 4th time this season, and with that win, he clinched the South Riverdale division. He's comfortable right now in the playoffs, just waiting for the Dynasty Bowl, waiting to make the Dynasty Bowl and have nothing bad happen to his team before then. He's going to make it to the Dynasty Bowl, and he's going to be happy because nothing bad's going to happen. Next game was the Amber Alerts versus the Negro Damas All-Stars. Final score was 126 to 103. The Amber Alerts was able to pull that one off. A little bit of a scare during the Sunday night game, but he was able to pull it through. And with that, Alerts have clinched the shit out of a playoff berth. So let's take a little gander at the standings, shall we? Let's take a look at the North Riverdale Division. Sitting pretty at the top is the Amber Alerts. With that win against the Negro Damas All-Stars, they have clinched a playoff berth. They're racking up points with 1499 is the amount of points they have. Just a little digression here. There was a very nice poll posted up by Coach Brandon McDowell about who you guys think is going to score the most amount of points at the end of the season. I, for one, voted for myself because I am. So just giving you guys a heads up if you want to, get that one right. It doesn't get you anything, but might as well vote for me. Next down in the standings in the North Riverdale Division is the Yellow Peril. Something about Jae Young Kim that is just there's a magic pageantry about his coaching strategy, his number crunching. He's just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and part of me